Hello. So, I'm doing the mech tutorial now. The video where I showcased the mechs and had a battle with my friend, it got enough likes. So now I'm going to be showing you how to make one of these. But before I show you that, I want to show you what exactly you're making, because it might be kind of confusing. So here's what we're gonna do. Alright, hi guys.
Beep boop.
So this is the mech. We're gonna get inside of it. Currently, it is a chair. And the cockpit, it has a chair and some arms and whatever. And if I show you my face, check this out. This is the view from inside the cockpit right here. This is an RC car panel. It turns it, it does all that stuff. Right? This orange little lever, pull it back. Missiles fire. These control the arms. These little joysticks here. And if that's kind of hard to follow, I'm going to put that in POV. There's these. You push them forward. And lastly, this. Which is very, very useful. And that is my mech. But this mech is modeled after Tordbot. And we're not making Tordbot. This was just modeled after it. Because, you know, Ed's World is awesome, and so is Tordbot. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to delete this.
Metal Gear is also awesome.
Yes. And from step one, from complete scratch, we're going to make a completely new mech with my friend here, VR Boy. Now, to help us kind of demonstrate the mechanics of the mech before we actually start it, I want you to show the D-Walker that you have created.
Oh, yeah, okay, let me grab that real quick. If anyone's played Metal Gear, probably remember D-Walker. D-Walker. Diamond Dog's favorite vehicle. Let me find this stupid thing. These menus are broken. Okay.
Now, you can just
swear to God, ever since the new update has ruined it. Yeah, let me.
Alright, there it is. Alright, you can drop your microphone now. So, let's understand the mechanics of this real quick. So, this is like a very small version of the mech that you just saw. Basically, this lever is clampedly connected to an arm. And that arm can be used to punch people and whack them. So you can mechanize that arm with more trigger volumes that are connected to this. If you look at this, if my maker pen would open, this is clamped to there. This here.
Sorry.
These are pistols. Well, this is a pistol. This is a rifle on the side.
Both on animation gizmos.
To explain how the actual driving works, it's very simple. Thank you. So to explain how the driving works, it's pretty simple. It's an RC car, but the remote is attached to the object connected to the RC car. So the RC car is connected to the mech itself. But what is also connected is an animation gizmo, which drops by this little thing. This allows you to control it completely. How do you get on it? You use the Rec Room seat feature to get on it. Now, you can walk around, control it, shoot from it, punch people with this weird arm, and do whatever these buttons do. Oh, that was an LMG that was gonna work, but I don't know. I didn't build this. I have no idea what this does. Oh no!
I mean, you can hook your streamer cam up to the main port, and then I was gonna put like a sharing screen on the inside, so you could duck down a little easier, and then, I'm gonna have to work on Mark II.
So, this is a small mech, but we're going to be making a medium-sized mech. Not as big as the mech that you saw earlier, but you'll be able to make a big mech if you want to. So, we're going to start with modeling. Now, the important thing is to separate all the objects. So you have to separate the head from the torso. You have to separate the arms. You have to separate the back arm and the front arm. You have to separate both of the legs. You have to separate the feet. You have to separate things or else it's not going to work too well. So first, we're going to start on the great old torso. You can skip past this part if you're just going to be making your own. Currently, I'm just not really thinking, just building. What I like to do is make a rectangle base, and then on the top half, I'll add something like this. But then, I'll make the one on the very bottom thinner, so that it seems kind of like a torso. And then you can add like a belt down here.
Oh yeah, or you could just spawn in Sahelanthropus. That might have been something I did.
I don't play Metal Gear VR Boy. Oh my god!
Yeah, but I just spawned in a Sahelanthropus
But this
model.
is a robot, not even a mech. How could you control this?
I mean, technically, yeah, I have no excuse. I'm gonna build my own model.
Remember, if you're gonna build something big, always start small, unless you want to be very specific. So, make sure that the second you're done with the torso, you want to start building the next shape. So next, we're gonna do a complicated shape. Well, at least to me, I don't know about you, the head. Now, if you're making a sphere head, mine is not too spherical, but kind of. Here's what you're gonna want to do.
Smooth brain.
What you want to do is take one little square. You want to add another square to it, but this time it's going to kind of be tilting off of it, as you can see. I'm putting it on snap so I can be very precise. Now you're going to want to do one more that's higher. Now, there's not really a specific amount that you have to lift them up from each other, but they just have to be higher. You'll get different results no matter what, so just be on the lookout for that. Now, what you want to do,
also,
grab it.
You don't even, just saying,
and
you don't even have to,
so
you can make mechs and tanks with this stuff. Heck, I made a working Humvee.
Then you go to clone, and you click this middle one. You don't hold it, you just click it, and it only works if you hear the sound. Yep, that's the sound we're looking for. Then, you want to go into the rotate menu, and click the green one. Do not hold it, just click it. And then boom. Now you got yourself this shape. And I want to select the whole thing, and once again, wait for the sound. There you go. And then, this time, don't click it, rotate it so it does this. Then select the whole thing, do it again, and move it again. And now, you got yourself this bullish shape. You may be wondering, how are we going to turn this into a head? You want to mirror it like this. And this isn't what this might not be what your head's going to look like, but it is what my head on this robot looks like. A very exotic looking head. And now you want to leave some leg room for a cockpit. That's what this is right here. And there we go. Now, a very alien-like thing. You can see that. Might as well add some antennas, I guess. Antennas are cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you got yourself... Now, you don't want to worry about the cockpit until you scale this, so don't do that. Next, you want to work on the arms, and start a little bit bigger than the other one with the arms. But, unless you're making, like, a humanoid mech, you gotta be very cubey with this. So, there's a new diamond shape, by the way. We're gonna use this. What are you doing? So, you want to grab
Get out of here, you little troublemaker.
one base shape. It could be a cube or a diamond. Then, you want to take a pivot shape. And this shape can be the same color, but I don't recommend it. Now, you put this at the base of this first shape, and then that becomes the start of the arm. Then to continue it, just mirror it. And then flip it. You could have just cloned it. You didn't really have to mirror clone it, but, you know, it still works. And now, we got an arm. At the end of this arm, we can put anything that we want. So, we're going to design a weapon. I like to design railguns. You know what a railgun is? Then you're awesome, because I love these things. So, if you're making a railgun, then you're going to want to start with something like this. Something a little bit like this. And you want to make sure these little prong things are very small.
Are these... Oh, no. Hey, is today Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. They always test the tsunami siren on the Friday at the end of the month. I kind of got terrified.
Alright. Now this barrel's kind of short, so I'm gonna extend it a little.
But it's a little louder than usual, so... Yeah, if I die, I die.
We're gonna put it at the end of this. And now we sort of got a railgun. Now, this is a low-effort railgun that I have made, but it is a railgun, and the point isn't really to model. I'm just showing you guys how to make it. Now, remember, there has to be 3 points to your arm. The weapon, or the hand, the secondary base arm, and the primary base arm. Now, you want to scale this down.
I thought my friend calculating the
fits your tiny model.
Exit for there was... Oh, no.
I recommend putting them in a T pose. 1, because it's funny, and 2, because it asserts their dominance.
It's easy.
And yeah, I guess it is also easier to work on animations and whatever, stuff like that.
It's a walking UFO.
Now you want to mirror it, and if you would like to change the weapon on one of the sides, you may do that. I'm just not doing it. And now we're making legs. So we're going to do a similar thing like what we did with this, except like a little bit more complex. So we're going to take a diamond, and we're going to do the thing we did before with that, and boom. Now, we want to, once again, take ourselves a pivot point. This one's going to be a little bit longer than before. It starts like this. Then, here, now we make a foot. Now, foots aren't too hard unless you make them hard. What I do is this.
That was very suggestive.
Yep. And then this. Clone it over here. And then you fill it in. There are going to be spots on the side where it doesn't fit too well, but what I recommend is just this. You manipulate this shape so it goes across the whole end, manipulate this one, and then these two you also manipulate inwards. Then what I usually end up doing is add like a neon yellow for the bottom because it looks awesome.
You got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
And then boom, here we got a foot. And now we have finished our modeling. Now, we're gonna overview the steps once I get these legs done, just to make sure that those of you modeling know what to do. I put timestamps.
This is gonna be a 30-minute video at this point.
I put timestamps in the description so you know when I'm modeling, when I'm putting in the gadgets, when I'm importing sound effects, and when I'm patching things up. Probably more than that, but you know. Alright, now you can add anything else you want. If you're going to add something just to the torso, then that's cool. If you want to add like a foldable mechanism, we're going to work on that in a second. But now we're going to select the whole thing and scale up our mech. You got to make your cockpit big, because if you do underestimate the size that you originally intended it to be, it may, like, you may not be able to fit in it. So, alright.
Thing is huge.
And boom. This is our sweet mech. The cockpit kind of looks like one of those cookers you see at Asian restaurants. I've only ever seen them at an Asian restaurant, like never in a store or anything, but they're like those cookers, like I think it's called a wok. It kind of looks like a wok.
Yeah, it's called a wok.
Yeah, this looks like a wok, but pretty cool. I should call it the walker. Anyways, okay. Now we're going to get on to programming this. So, timestamp start, 3, 2, 1. Bazinga, the timestamp has been started. Now, we're going to start off with our arms, because they're pretty simple, but you got to get them done very fast. Well, they got to be the first thing you do. You want to take your arms, and I'm actually just going to delete that part and clone this so that I don't need to worry about anything else. Mirror. And there you go. Now your arms have to be facing forward. It looks funky. Yes, it looks very funky indeed, but you kind of got to do it. I'm gonna make myself a little bit more able to see here, because and then kind of fit this stuff in.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. Alright. Now, you want the little prongs that you grab to control these arms. So, what you want to do is find make a little joystick or holder. You could even have sticks going out of the ground. There are many different ways you can do this, but I'm going to show you my favorite. So, if you take let's start with just a red ball, just a red ball. And this is its own shape. It's its own complete shape. Then, you want to make a base. I'm just going to make a black box.
Isn't that a TF2 weapon?
And then, we're going to want a stick. So the stick, the top of the stick, and the base of the stick. Like a joystick, kind of. You know what I mean? So, what we're going to do is make it here. So, just got to center this. Make sure it's good. Right now, you want to take a cylinder and then connect it like this. Perfect. You got yourself cylinder. English. Now, you want to connect. Well, no, don't do that. You want to take a look at Gizmo here, and you want to name this ball something. I'm literally going to name it RB, because it's going to be the right hand, so right ball. And then the left one is going to be left ball. So this is going to be connected to the beam. And then we just got to make sure that it's straight, because if it's not, we could have some serious issues.
I don't practice in the arena.
Okay, there we go. Wait. There we go. Then, turn it on. And now, this look at gizmo is looking at this thing. This sweet ball. And, oh wait, it's not on. Is it? On. So, let's see. Object, tag to follow. I didn't even put on the tag to follow of this. Okay, that makes sense. So, tag to follow, RB. Now, it is following RB. And when you move this, check it out. It's just like an actual joystick. So, you can move it around, and you can pull it forward, and you can do all this fun stuff. And this is how we're going to be controlling our arms, with a joystick-like thing. Now, there are many ways you can do this, like with a rangefinder is a good way, but the issue with rangefinders is that they sometimes will end up not, like, connecting, or I don't know what I mean by connecting. They just won't, like, adapt to the object that they are supposed to follow, and it'll make things really funky. So I do not recommend using rangefinders. If you know how to do that, go ahead, please do. But if you don't, which I do not, do not. Now we're gonna make left. When cloning this, it's going to do this funky thing. It's going to. All you gotta do is just rename the objects to have their own specific tags, and then you're okay. Now, you want to name this one, not RB, LB, because this is the left hand. And then this one is going to go for LB. I said tag LB. This is... Oh, I didn't add the tag yet. There we go. So as you can see now, here we got two arm joysticks. They can move, they're epic, they do the epic funny move thing. Now, what I recommend is having a starting position. And if you don't know what a starting position is, you want to take an animation gizmo. And you want to
Dude, I gotta leave for the beach.
Okay.
I will be back later.
See you
sub.
Alright, so you want to connect these, like the objects that you want to have a starting place. And you want to connect them to the animation gizmo at their starting place. Then you want to turn on the animation gizmo without adding any frames. Now, when you drop this, it'll go back to that starting place. This works with any object, and it's very useful. So, there you go. You got yourself two sticks. Why are they floating? Well, because we haven't done stuff with them yet. Now we're going to connect them. You want to take... Now, in my case, I'm using a gun, but if you're using a fist, you don't want these two pieces to be clamped. But right now, we do. So, what we're going to do is take this little right ball and clamp it to this arm. And now, if you look at this now controls this arm. But what about the back arm? It's not following it. Well, we're going to fix that. It is pretty darn complicated if you think it is, but I don't mind it too much. What you want to do is create a square inside of this arm and name it something that is not going to be anything like something else, like FFR. Follow, follow, right. I don't know why I put two follows. I just feel like I'm going to end up having one in another piece of the creation. Then you want to clamp that cube to this arm by putting the big part of the clamp on this arm and the small part of the clamp on the cube. Now, we're going to take a look at gizmo over here And let's check the tag of this because I already forgot. FFR. This is going to follow FFR. And we're going to stick it. Oh, wait, no, it needs to have a capital F. I forgot that capitals mattered. Okay. Now we're going to stick it kind of in the middle of this part of the arm, of the back part. Then take your tip and connect it to the back part of the arm. Then just turn it on. Now it follows the arm. So let's try this. It is following the arm, but it's not quite long enough, so this doesn't look fun. It doesn't look right. So what we're going to do is this. You're going to want to take a long metal beam-ish, kind of. You're going to want to just put it in the middle here and have it go out to around the middle of the second arm. And then, bazinga, you got yourself this. It's cool. We're going to want to extend that a little bit, though. About right to this. And then boom, you got yourself a cool arm. Now, you just got to repeat the steps for left. I personally don't want to do that, so I'm just going to clone this arm and... Wait, no, that's going to be too much work. Yeah, that would be more work than in before. Let's just follow the steps again, this time faster. So, instead of FFR, we're going to go FFL, okay? So, FFL is going to be the name of this one. FFL. And you're going to want to get rid of FFR. Now, you don't have to use these tags, but they're just the tags that I choose to use, so it's cool. Now, once again, clamp this to the cube. And now, before I forget, clamp this to the arm. Now, great. We're getting somewhere, huh? Once again, look at Gizmo, this time following FFL. Put it right here, around the middle. There we go. Now, we want to turn this on and make our middle beam. Last from here, all the way to the white cube. We're going to move that so that it lines up well. And then boom, arm. Now, if we walk in here, we'll notice this. These prongs now... Oh, yeah, I forgot. These prongs now control two fully functional arms. They can be moved forward, backward. They can be turned by rotating the little circle things, spheres, and you can move them however you'd like. And then boom, you can see that this is the start. Well, it's the start of our robot. And now we're going to design the cockpit. So, we're going to start by making a little stand for our two prongs here. Because they were just kind of floating. Alright. Now, once you've done that, you want to place down a seat. You cannot, and I repeat, this is very important, you cannot use the CV2 seats. You will not be able to save this as an invention if you use CV2 seats. You have to use a chair. You have to use a chair from the Maker Pen menu. My personal favorite is chair poker, the poker chair, because it still kind of looks like an evil villain chair. You want to dye it your color. I'm going to go a hard dark green. And now, push it over here. Alright, great. Now at this point, you're going to want to finally get a clamp on the head, because there's a bunch of stuff in the head, but nothing that's connected, like nothing, like it's not connected to the head, it's just in the head. So we're gonna start by clamping the head to the chair. Then the animation gizmo of these things. Then the bases of them. And lastly, their look at gizmos. Every time you add something in this, immediately after you have to clamp it and make sure that it's good. Now let's try it. Yep, perfectly movable. We're cool. Now, test if it's good for you. So you sit in it, you can adjust it to your liking. I'm gonna put it a little bit down because I don't like the placement of it currently. Oh, this is much better. I get carried away sometimes. Anyways, now you want to make weapons, because this thing has arms and all that stuff, but it's not weaponized. So there are a few ways you can go about doing this. Animations, emitters, and engines. Engines, we'll start with animations. Animations are just animations of something happening, like an animation of a dart shooting out of one of the arms, or a bullet being shot out of one of the railguns, or just stuff like that. A emitter is even simpler. It's just an emitter being fired to shoot out a projectile. Emitter is the easiest one. Animation is the second easiest, but the hardest of all of them is what I like to call a mechanism. I didn't call it a mechanism earlier, I think. I don't know, but it is a mechanism. What a mechanism does is it's kind of like an animation, except it toggles something. So like adding 2 extra arms to the robot, or making a missile pop out of its chest by like it opening. Right now, we're not going to be doing mechanisms. That will be in a future tutorial for advanced robots. But we're just starting with this. So on one of these, we're going to use an emitter, and the other an animation. So this is the emitter one. You're going to want to grab yourself 3 emitters. Make sure looping is off for all of them, by the way, very important. All right, now on the first one, you want explosion. On the second one, you want firework. And on the third one, you want flash. The explosion, set the size to 25. That's the only size difference you really have to make, other than in the flash, where you just want to put it at 200. Here we go. Now we got to play all these at the same time. It was really that simple. What we're going to do is connect these. So connect these 3 emitters to the railgun. Alright, you want to put the explosion in the very back. You want to put the firework in the middle. And you want to put the flash at the very front. Like this. You can kind of see it from there. Now, how do we activate it? You're going to activate it by moving this baby. So, if you jerk it forward, it might do that. If you jerk it back, it'll do that. With my robot, how it works is when you pull it forward, it'll do something. So that's what we're going to actually be doing with this. We're going to take 2 trigger volumes. Now, you got to make sure it's a considerable amount forward. You got to push it a bit. We're going to start with 1 just for now, because we need to work on this a bit. Now, take the tag RB. This is going to detect RB. Remember, the second you add something that's supposed to stick to the head, immediately stick it to the head. So, immediately clamp that. Now, what you want to do is take this and have it emit all 3 of these at the same time. Now, watch this. Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah. You can't make it too far, because the chair will try to push you out. So you need to make it kind of iffy. We're just going to put it to the left because that seems like a easier approach. Come on. Oh yeah, you have to put it on physical because it trigger volumes only sense environmental and physical. I don't know if they sense sticky. They might, but there you go. As you can see, oh shoot. As you can see, now in our machine, when you move this to the right, boom. Now this doesn't mean you're only limited to fire it in a certain range. You could put it in any angle, in any shape. You just gotta kind of move the stick to the right, and that's how you're gonna end up firing it. Sound effects we're going to get at last, so bear with me on that one. Now, we're going to have a second one here, and this one is going to be it going completely down, like just this. Doesn't seem very practical, not really, no, because you're not pointing the gun at all, but just bear with me. So we're going to want to, once again, make the little ball physical. LB, this is going to now detect LB. Now you can move this wherever you want. I'm moving it right here because I'm trying to make a mortar-like shape. I don't know if you guys know what a mortar is, but we'll get into that. Alright. Now remember, immediately clamp. There we go. Okay. Now we want to start our animation by, first off, getting our ammunition. So we're going to make a mortar ball. And because it's going to look like it's flying through the air, what we're going to do is kind of add some effects. Now, how I like to do this is take some tubes, put them on smooth, make sure their facet is at 6, make sure uniform is off, and then kind of like do this on the edge there. So like it kind of looks like it's firing so fast that it's like doing this or whatever. Just makes it look cooler. See that? You can kind of make it bounce off like that. You don't need to worry about adding anything to the very back because nobody will really be seeing it. Kind of looks like Sonic's head, but yeah, whatever. Now, there's our actual bolt. Now, you gotta be very careful with this one. Don't make the animation yet. Take the clamp, that's your arm, and clamp the ball to it. Not the animation, the ball. Do not clamp the animation linked to the ball, just clamp the ball. It would work if you did clamp it to the animation, but you'd have to, well, if you clamped the animation to it, but it would take a long time, and I just, oh god, what did I just merge? Yeah, I just merged the floor. Well, it's unmerged now. Shoot, dang it, I did it again. Shouldn't be a problem. Alright, we'll just see how it goes. Now we're gonna wanna see this ball here, and it's gonna go forward like this, and if you know how mortars work, they shoot up in the sky like in almost a physics-defying way. So frame by frame, you just want to make a mortar. Maybe not you, but I know I am. And now, you want to make it fall. And now it shouldn't be a very fast process. If this is a real mortar we're talking about, it's gonna fall slow. Because they're fired at high velocity. And then, now this is very important, when it hits the ground is supposed to be the last frame of the animation. You can't add like it rolling or anything like that. Now you want to click this squiggly line for every single frame. Why? Well, because the squiggly line makes the frames ease into each other so it looks smooth. Of course, it's a little slow for now, but when we speed it up, it will look better. You might not want to smooth it on the last frame, though, because it'll look weird. But what we're going to want to do is take an emitter with a giant, like a giant size. So you want to go to explosion, turn off looping, and make the size, the highest number is 100, but I'm just going to go 2,500 just to be fun. And we're going to clamp this to the cannonball, or the mortar ball. Boom. Now, you want to make it so that at the end of this animation, it will activate. Now, you make it play when you hit this thing. So, now, let's test this. Oh, by the way, just a little thing. Make the animation loop and stop at start. I'm going to increase the speed to 300. That's what I recommend for projectiles. Now watch this. It fires. When it hits the ground, it explodes. I don't know if the emitter actually went too far with it, but what I can recommend is putting it kind of far away so that it seems better, because the highest explosion radius is huge, so, you know. So you fire the mortar, and it fires out, and it hits the ground, and it explodes. And boom, that's how mortars work. I just realized my chair's kind of tilted. I'm going to fix that. And boom. Now, you're done with weaponry, and you're done with the cockpit. There is only one more step, other than sound design, but sound design comes last, always. The last step, and it's actually pretty darn simple, you just gotta make it drivable. This guy's been working on this. Now, to make it drivable, you need this. You need to go into your toys section and go to the RC car set. Just, Alright, you want to grab your RC car, and I recommend not changing the size. Also, make the feet decorational so that it doesn't end up clipping into the feet. All the weight of this entire robot is going to be on this single RC car, so it has to be big. If it's too small, it can tip so easily you wouldn't even believe it. So, I'm going to recolor this green, because I can. Now, we're going to want to freeze this. This is the whole base. Before we get to actually programming this to work, we're going to record a walking animation. Now, it's actually pretty easy. Select all the leg parts, and then once they're all selected, click the ring, and all of them have been added now. Now, at the start of your animation, you don't actually want them to be in a still place. You want them to be, you want this thigh to be facing this way. I don't want to call it a thigh, but I guess it is kind of a thigh. And you want to do that. And then, in the next frame, you want the whole leg to move. Oh, sorry, I forgot the foot. You want the whole leg to move back here. Yes, I understand what the thigh, whatever, looks like. It is a robot walking, so you don't need to worry about it looking perfect. Robots don't walk perfectly. Nobody does. And now, you want to make the left leg open up like this. And if we slide through these animations, yeah, that looks like a walk. So, once again, squiggly line. You want to put this animation on ping pong. You want to not make it anything, just put it on like 200, I recommend. Now, we're going to take a gadget, and this is going to This is going to be connected to that controller. I'm just going to name the object controller. That's going to be the tag, just con. In fact, cont. That works. We're going to tag this with cont. Great. Now, what we're going to want to do is go into gadgets, math chips, find a Boolean chip. And you want to push it to not. And connect this pin, the green pin, to that. Then this, it'll only be active when this isn't in it. And when it isn't in it, you want this to be walking. So, what we're going to want to do is lift this up here. And we're going to clamp it to the head, obviously. What's new? Don't make it too big, but also don't make it too small. It's kind of difficult to understand in some cases, but you'll get used to it. So, now, you want to put this here and add it to the previously mentioned these things and animation gizmos for these things. And now, it has a starting position and an ending position. So when it's in there, as you can see, they're actually still going because I haven't told them to stop yet. When it's in the zone, you want it to be stopped, but you also want it to reset. It is kind of weird, but yeah. So when it's in the zone, you want it to stop and reset. When it's out of the zone, you want them to walk. Boom. Now you got your working, moving legs. And now we're ready to kind of finish the whole thing up. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the main clamp. I make the main clamp big so that you know what it is. Because this clamp holds everything together. The base of the clamp, obviously, the RC car. First pin you're going to want to put down this little animation gizmo. Second pin, the entire torso. Third pin, the entire head. One more check to make sure that everything is aligned in the head. Clear. Next check. Well, no, not really, but just whatever. Next, clamp both of these look at gizmos. You have to start from the look at gizmo. You can't start from the clamp because for some reason it won't work. Okay. Want to make sure everything is clamped. Want to make sure everything is working. Okay. This looks pretty darn promising. Now, we just have to kind of trust it. And it seems like it's going to be difficult, and it will be, because if it breaks, then dang, you're not really going to be able to fix it, but it has been completed. So, all we got to do is just hope that when we move this RC car, the entire mech moves with it. Hey! Awesome! You see that? And boom, now you got yourself a completely working mech. Let me show you how to use your new completely working mech. Simply hop in your chair and this little toy car just controls everything. Here's how it works. If you are on PSVR, what you want to do is hold down the trigger while holding the controller and tilt your controller, like your hand, like this, and it'll turn. On PC VRs or any VR with a joystick, all you got to do is hold down trigger to make it go, move the joystick to turn it, and hold down grip to add boost, which will make it go a little bit faster. A thing that happens with all platforms is the rec button. Pushing the rec button will make the whole thing respawn. However, I do not recommend pushing the rec button on the mech, just due to the fact that, well, it's kind of, well, you'll see. It makes you fall. It teleports the bottom of the mech all the way to the top of it. Next, arm check. As you can see, arm check. Boom, that fires. Boom, mortar. Show me what you got. boom! Now our entire mech is complete. All we need is just some sound design, which brings us to the next bookmark. Sound design. All right, we're almost done. This has been a long time, but I promise we're almost done. Now I'm gonna hop into voice mod. I already have stuff downloaded, okay? I don't know about y'all, but I already have stuff downloaded. So what you're gonna want is, first off, an explosion effect. Easy. Pretty cool. Now, this only works with PC VR if you're using voice mod or any other way to import audio into your mic through a sound pad. If you're on PSVR, just import it through your phone. It's the best you can do. Or you could play on PC, but just get a bot. All right. Now, in order to make sure that it's working, make sure that the mic of your sound pad is your system mic and turn on system microphone. Then, just be real quiet when recording this. And boom, there we go. We're going to have a little bit of offset because it was kind of late. So we're just going to do 0.2. Now, we make this play at the end of this. And it's huge, so you're going to want to set it to 2D audio. Now, let's fire the mortar. Of course, it's delayed because the explosion is far away, and that's kind of how it would actually go in real life. Next, I'm going to move this over here because it's kind of hard to see my screen. Oh, sorry. I took off my headset for a second. All right. I'm going to find the next piece of audio. You can easily find files really anywhere online. All right. I have a sound called... Where is it? Missile launch. There we go. Okay, no, that's not what we want. That's not at all what we want. Energy blast. Yeah, it's better. And now this is gonna play when this one goes. Now, you want to make this one play when you enter this trigger volume, and once again, make it 2D. You can add as many sound effects as you want. That's just basically how you do it. If you don't want them 2D, then you can clamp them to the area where the sound would be made in an actual mech. Now, boom, you got yourself a real life rec room, completely working battle mech. You can battle these with your friends. You can do this thing where you can basically make every part of it physical but clamped together. And if somebody like shoots the center of it or like the heart of it, then the whole thing collapses and you fall to the floor and in your head and like the whole mech explodes. So you could have like mechanics where you actually fight and do all of that. But I have certainly just taught you the basics. There's so many things you can do with these mechs. This is a base plate. Speaking of base plates, you can use this one. I am allowing this mech to be used for public access to anyone who would like to use it. You can use it to make your own mech. You can use it to just kind of, you know, I don't know. You just mess around with it, mech around with it. I don't know. You could do a lot of things with this mech, and every single one of them is cool, as long as it's not something like really bad. You can do that just privately, please. Now we're gonna want to make sure every single chip is connected, not a single chip left out. Yep, everything is working. Scrub mech template. We're gonna take a fine photo of this base. And boom. There we go. Build your own great mech or cause chaos. Character, weapon. Environment. I'll go environment. Invention, price, and tokens. This is free. You can even publish it, so I can see. Well, I'd love to see what you make with this, so it's completely, published. You can publish your own version of this robot. Now, let's do an outro. Oh yeah, stream mixer, here it is. Thank you to every single one of you guys for watching today's video. It has been a moment since I have made a tutorial in Rec Room. However, I plan to do it a lot more often. This was a lot of work to do, but you must admit that this was probably worth it because now you got yourself a battle mech. And if you don't want to follow this whole tutorial, just grab the invention of this mech from the invention store and build your very own version. I really enjoyed this video. It has been a while since I have made one of these, and I had tons and tons of fun. Now, excuse me while I drive this thing.